Come on, let's do it.
All right, Saturday morning. Time for a little brunch. Got a cup of Joe here. We all looking at a snowstorm. They're talking about, 5 to 8 inches overnight tonight into Sunday. I'll take that. It's better than waking up on a work day and having to go out there and shovel 8 inches of snow. So I did a bunch of shopping Friday on the way home from work. So I'm set. Bring on the snow for the weekend. We're almost on our way to spring, which is inspiring today's little brunch. I'm very excited. My chicken's in laying again. Not a lot, but I hadn't seen an egg all summer, so I'll take it. I don't know. I thought they were done due to age. But anyway, I have some freshly laid eggs, although I did buy a half dozen because we are going to make a nice spring-inspired brunch called Eggs Florentine. This is Eggs Benedict, but instead of meat, instead of the Canadian bacon that would traditionally be on an Eggs Benedict, we're going to saute a little spinach and lay that down on our English muffin, although we're going with more of the crumpet style than the English muffin today. So let's get started by making our crumpets. I got 250 grams of flour here, and it's a mix. It's about 175 all-purpose. I put in a little of that high-protein wheat flour, measured it up to 250. We're going to put in 14 grams of this fast-action yeast. There we go, 14 grams of yeast. Okay, now we got some warm milk here. I had it on the stove, and a lot of recipes you'll see sugar, caster sugar. I'm going to go with just under a teaspoon of honey, and I'm going to dissolve it into my warm milk here. Get a wooden spoon down. There we go. Okay, now let's get the yeast kind of mixed in, and let's add this milk. This is 350 ml of warm milk with that teaspoon of honey. So right now we just have our 2 flours, our sugar or honey, milk, and yeast. Now let me get you in here. So we're just going to beat this in good, make it nice and wet. We want, you see those bubbles? We want that air in there for our crumpets. So when we griddle them, we get nice holes rising all the way through. Okay. Well mixed, nice and wet. Let's let this sit. I'll cover it with a towel. We're going to let it sit for 1 hour. Give me time to sit down, enjoy this cup of coffee on a pre-snow Saturday morning. It's already 10 a.m. I've only had 2 sips of this coffee, so I am ready for a little brunch around. It's going to take an hour or so for this. I'll be eating probably around 11:30 noon. Fine with me. All right, I'm going to cover this, and I will be back in 1 hour. See you all then. 1 hour is up. Let's have a look at our dough here. Ooh, look at the bubbles. It rose up nice. Now what happens is it rises up and then it drops down a little. You can almost see. I came in here before and it was literally doming. And that's what you want. A lot of air in there. So now what we're going to do is I have 150 milliliters of water here. I just poured it in where I had the milk. That's why it's cloudy. 150 ml of tepid water. Now what's tepid? Tepid is, I actually Googled it, 99.6. All right. It's water anywhere between 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 100 degrees is what I got on the Googs. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of baking soda. Now, what's the difference between a crumpet and an English muffin? English muffins are a little bit more sort of bready consistency, and you cook them a little more on both sides. The crumpet's really only cooked on one side, and then we'll just flip it over on the griddle to finish. But the English muffins are cooked more evenly through. So let's add this water with the salt and baking soda into our batter here. And what we want is something akin to almost like a pancake batter. So we want it thin enough to where it's going to droop, but we don't want milk, right? We don't want a liquid. So I'm not adding all the water at once. A little droopier. Wow, I can really see that yeast going to town. These are going to be good. Okay, I'll put just a drop more, but I don't think I'm going to put it all in. So now, the yeast did a great job during the first hour with just the flour, the milk. And now what we'll do is we will, I'm going to throw it all in. We'll let this sit for 20 more minutes. The baking soda will really start to take action. And then when I come back, we'll get the griddle turned on and griddle them up. Crumpets. All right, putting the timer on 20. See you then. All right, special occasion meal here. I got the Breville heating up to 300 on the bake mode. Got my little tray out. I've got some aluminum foil in the bottom, and then I'm putting the rib rack on top because, I'd say about once every 2 or 3 months, I break down and buy some bacon. I like this Applegate, no sugar, uncured, no nitrates, etc. I don't eat a lot of this stuff, but when I do, this is generally the type of thing I'll buy. This is only 8 ounces, a half a pound, $8. So you're paying. But like I say, it's a special treat for me a couple of times a year. There's 300. And I'm just going to do 2 slices, putting them on the rack here so the grease can drip through. I have foil on the bottom. There will be cleanup on this top rack. And these are going to shrink down a good bit. I'm just doing 2 slices because on the side of a eggs Florentine, I think they're going to be beautiful. All right, let's get those in because we have to wait 20 minutes for the batter. So why not use that time productively? 2 strips of bacon, crumpet batter. See you back here in 20. Bacon sizzling away over there. I turned the Breville oven down to 260 because it was going pretty hard, and I like to slowly render out the bacon. Timer went off, so our batter is ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the griddle on medium to low. We're going to cook these nice and gently. All right, let me get the rings, and then we'll get in here on a close-up. All right, trusty crumpet rings, English muffin rings. Also great for risottos, a lot of plating applications. You can do little salads in them, little seafood salads. I love these things. Now, I could just lightly oil the griddle with some olive oil, but I have the old coconut spray because we also want to get the inside of these rings. So I just start by going like this. Less utensils to clean. And flip them over so it drips down the inside a little. All right, that ought to be good. Like I said, medium low. Let's have a look at our batter after the 20 minutes. Looks fantastic. Let's get in there a little. There we go. All right, I'm going to start ladling in. Nice consistency. And once they go in, I'm going not quite to the top. I'll be able to judge the heat by the activity that's going on. I think, just seeing it, I'm going to turn it up. I've got it on number 4 now, so it's like a medium to medium low. And I can already see some bubbling activity there, so we're looking pretty good. And we're going to cook them pretty much on the one side only, and then just flip them to finish. As I said, opposed to an English muffin that we would cook more evenly on the 2 sides. Alright, camera off. I'll be back when I start seeing the bubbles really opening and then beginning to fill in. We don't want liquid in there. We want the bubbles all the way through. It's starting to happen. Okay, now we don't have our holes all the way through, which would be ideal, but they're bubbling nicely, and I did check the bottoms, and I don't want to burn them. So let's flip these guys over. I think I want another flat. So we are going to cook them through a little more on this side. Yeah, nice color there. And now we want to finish them up. That's a little mess. I'm going to try it like that. Alright, we might have a little trimming to do. They should have been more cooked through, but see how they're getting dark? It's a crapshoot. It's just like pancakes. Nice color though. You know, the first few can be testers, but I think they're going to be just dandy all the way through. And I think what I'll do is I'll lower the heat. So now I'm going a little bit below 3 to finish them up, and the next batch I'll try a little cooler, and I think maybe they'll cook through before they're so brown. So let me get this cleaned up, and I'll take these off. I'll do the second batch, and then we'll be ready to start a little brunch. Eggs Florentine. Okay, let's get this brunch on the road here. I'm going to put this pot of water in the back. Just start getting it warmed up to poach our eggs while we look at everything else. So, Eggs Florentine. Got some beautiful baby spinach here. This is from the market, but as I said, this episode is a little bit of a celebration. Spring is coming. I'm going to be starting some seeds indoors today, as a matter of fact. Lettuces, cabbage. Spinach doesn't like to transplant, but it's not far off. I'll be planting that as soon as I can work that dirt in March. This is the 24 garlic, which I've been loving. Plenty left. I'll have my own garlic pretty much until the new cloves are ready. So scratch that off shopping list. This is not my shallot, but for the first time ever, I planted shallots this year. They're sleeping in those beds, new beds I made, and I can't wait for spring. I got 2 varieties of shallot. We've talked about our poached egg before, half vinegar, half water. I just have them resting. You can see they already start, the albumin, the white, already start setting up, and then we just tip them into our water to poach. This is the store-bought egg, and actually I have to say their yolks were a little darker than mine. I'm going to add 1 more yolk, and we're going to make some hollandaise. I'm eating my own eggs. I'm making the hollandaise from the market. So, I will prep the onion and shallot off camera. The spinach, not necessary, and that looks like a lot, but you know what happens. It's going to wilt down considerably, but I am going to give it a very rough chop, just for textural purposes. Now, let's talk about our crumpets here. They're done, and it's always a little bit of a crapshoot. Some of them cook better and more evenly than others because you have to get used to the griddle, and the heat's different in different spots, so I moved them around. Some weren't done in the middle, and they got real brown. I just took them out of the rings, popped them back on, and let them finish. Just kept a real good eye on the outside so they didn't burn. Now, which one should I do my Florentine with? I'm looking for a good specimen here. I like this guy. And if the middles aren't completely done, don't forget, we're going to toast, right? So, let's see what our crumpet looks like on the inside. A little doughy. Yeah, a little unfinished on the inside. Okay. Gummy. Tremendous flavor though. And that wasn't a good cut because I don't like this knife. That will not go to waste. Let's check this guy and use a proper knife. That probably didn't help the situation. Here we go. And this one is cooked better. I don't remember if this was the first batch or the second, but there's a beauty. Cooked through. We'll toast it. Spinach, poached egg, hollandaise. So let's get the spinach on. I'm going to prep up and then I'll see you at the stove. Here we go. It's called eggs Florentine, so let's do the spinach because that's what makes it Florentine. I'm starting with a little of this gorgeous Greek olive oil that I buy in bulk at Mother Earth. So fruity. Gonna warm that up, but we are going with some butter. I got the Kerrygold Irish butter. I hope you didn't think I was gonna let that undercooked crumpet go to waste. No, no, no. Quality control. Toasted it up. A little Kerrygold on there. Ooh, it's hot. Let that butter melt a tad. Oh, fantastic. Nothing like it. I have plenty of them. They freeze well. Going in with the shallot. And I picked up some Swiss cheese yesterday. And another jar of my extra light olive oil so that I can make some mayonnaise, fresh mayonnaise, and I'll make little tuna melts with Swiss on these, toasted up. That'll be my snowstorm comfort food for Sunday afternoon. Oh, these are so delicious. And what were they? Flour, whole wheat flour, an all-purpose mix, milk, salt, yeast, water, right? No maltodextrin, no, I can't even pronounce half the words. No high fructose corn syrup, no. Freshly made crumpets from scratch. Check it out. Treat yourself. Get a set of those rings. They really help and they're good for a lot of things. Garlic in, shallot in, and now I'm going to put in a nice big glop of the Kerry Irish Gold. It looks like 2 or 3 tablespoons worth, roughly. Shallot, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, butter. Raise the heat just a tad, and I am gonna drop in my roughly chopped baby spinach, stems and all, which is basically the reason I chopped it, get the stems broken down just a tad. Bring the heat up with, again, medium low. Get all that spinach in there. And I think this is easier with tongs than a spoon. Got a couple of runaways into the stove. Let me sniff those out. Oh, this is fun. This is like game Operation when we were kids. Remember that? The tweezers? Okay, I got most of it. A little salt. Oh, I didn't put too much. You know what I have? Gift from a friend. A little Sicily salt with chili pepper. Let's put a little of that in. Not too much, just a little spiced pepper in there. Let me try this. I think I tasted it the other day. Yeah. coarse Sicily rock salt, chili pepper powder, carrot, pumpkin, and cherry juice for color. Okay, I'll take that. From Sicily. Can't go wrong with that. Let's go with some cracked pepper. And some people will do lemon zest or lemon juice in here. I'm just going to put a drop of red wine vinegar. I like that in my greens. Just a touch. For the acid, not even the vinegar flavor. It'll go away. Now look what's already happening to our volume. See? 6 ounces of spinach I started with for the 2 muffins. It actually may be enough to make another batch. Put it in the fridge, container. Plenty of these crumpets. Alright, let's do a taste on this. Perfect amount of salt. I can taste a little bit of that chili powder. Shallot and onion. Beautiful. It's going to be great. Eggs, Florentine. Alright. I'm going to turn this off now. It's well wilted. I turned off the water, but it's just under the simmer, so we can get that going at a moment's notice. We'll bring it back to the front burner. I'll switch these around, and let's head over to the board now. And all we have to do is make our hollandaise and poach our eggs. Let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
Blender hollandaise. Let's do it up. I've got my 2 egg yolks here. Gonna pop in a little bit of lemon juice. I don't know what that is. Half a teaspoon maybe. A little bit of Dijon mustard. Please pass the Grey Poupon. Some recipes call for cayenne and of course salt. Well, look what we have. Our chili powder salt. Go for a crack of that. Okay, let's whiz this up first. And then I have here some melted butter, and it's still quite warm. So again, I don't want to cook my eggs. I'm going to put this on as low as it can go, and just put in a drop, and I'm going to use the ice crush. You want to start that emulsification without cooking that egg. I'm tempering it. Okay, now I'm going to put it on and drizzle the stream. You know what I noticed? I didn't quite get my mustard down in there, and that's key for the emulsification process. So let's get that in there, and I'm going to try to pour a little butter over that and push it down. Hollandaise, baby. Let's taste it for salt. Oh, perfect emulsion. Perfect little hint of lemon. That is a beauty. So let's just let that sit. It's nice and warm, and poach our eggs, and we're ready to go. Oh, I've got the 2 muffins in. Let me put that on broil, and we'll toast those up while we poach the eggs. Meet me at the stove. You guys know the drill here. Let's lower the heat. We want to simmer. And we've already got our eggs semi-solidified. So let's pour them in. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to crank the heat a little because the water and vinegar in here is going to lower the temperature of what's in the pot already. But as you can see, they already have a nice shape because they started to form up in the water vinegar mixture. So we'll poach these. I'm toasting, Let me clean up over here a little, and we're going to plate this beauty up. Oh, I'll put the back burner on very low to warm the spinach through. It's been sitting here for a few. And let me tell you something. I had to have a few spoonfuls. This is so tasty. Butter, olive oil, shallot, garlic. I'm getting pretty pumped. All right, I'm going to clean up, set up, and we'll plate. Here we go. Fresh out of the toaster. Nice little crunch on top. Lightly browned. Just going to put a little touch of butter on them for a little extra oomph. By the way, that's your restaurant secret. They're just plowing butter into all your dishes. Butter and salt. We don't do that at home, except for special treats like this. A little extra butter, because we have plenty, obviously in the hollandaise, but also in the spinach. And this is what is making this eggs fiorentine. And by the way, I'm hoping to get back over to Italy. I'm not an fan of urban living, but I did spend a little time in Florence, and I thought, if I had to live in a city, this one I could probably do. But the key words are if I had to. I think I'll stick with Elville. All right, I have enough spinach in that pot for a full another round. Let's get our poached. Drain it off a little. Beautiful poached eggs. I love that method. Half vinegar, half water. Give them 10, 15. Let them begin to set up. Look at those. I am going to tidy up a little bit here. Let's get that little spot in there. Water. Okay. And the hollandaise. Beautiful hollandaise. Not always working the way you want it to, but today we nailed it. Oh yeah. And again, Sunday morning, looks like it's going to be another batch of Florentine, and I am not at all complaining. A little black pepper for flavor, but also visual. And then what I like to do, I do have parsley on the counter, but I'm going to skip the parsley. What I did, which I encourage you to do at home, is I just took one full head of garlic, peeled the cloves, put them root side down in water, and I just change out the water every day, every other day, and these just sit on the windowsill. And you can snip them as needed. Little garlic chives growing from a head of garlic. In this case it's my 24, but store-bought garlic, just fine. So I'm going to use a little of these chopped up. QC, garlicky but green. Beautiful. It's like a chive, basically. So good. Okay. Oh, bacon. Now what I'm going to do for presentation purposes is break this in half. Put these down like so. But then I am going to crumble up a little. Let me use my knife over here. I'm off camera. Apology. But I want to take a picture on that board, and I don't want to mess it up. QC on the bacon. No nitrates, no nitrites, no sugar. All right. I'm ready to dig in. Here we go. Let's see how we did on these poached eggs, you guys. Oh, yeah. Oh. Perfectly cooked yolk to my taste. Not to everybody's. Some people like them well done. Oh. Incredible. The yolk is perfect. I freaked a little. I saw a little that looked clear, but it was the water. That is the perfect yolk. For me, the spinach. I tell you, I love eggs Benedict. But Florentine, what a special treat. And, I gotta say, the bacon was a good call as a side. But I've got to say, in particular, these crumpets, they make the breakfast. That's what inspired it. Treat yourself to some homemade crumpets or English muffins. There's recipes all over the web. I've shown you the Paul Hollywood bread book. He's got a crumpet recipe in there. Phenomenal. All right, Saturday afternoon. I've got some editing to do. I don't see any snow yet. It's supposed to start tonight. Up to 8 inches overnight. We'll see. Maybe I'll save a little editing clip for the end of the show and put it on first thing in the morning when I see what the snow looks like. Hopefully I'll see you all then.
Come on, let's do it.
Well, they weren't lying.